Heard you around a lot, but I never. This is the first time I had a chance to see you.
First time I've seen you.
I didn't want to get more pot
Just
meeting.
sticking around for a couple of
You
years.
know, driving back
Building a
up.
house, but-
Yes, there you go.
Never
Yeah,
did driving back
visually.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, hold this,
We're not, we don't have a forum to me.
well, let's go through
Who's
the,
online?
We're on the record.
Yeah,
I think we've got a quorum.
okay,
okay.
so
That
let's
Arizona guy.
begin the meeting, and if we don't have a quorum, we don't have a quorum.
Then we don't meet.
So call to order of the February 4th Fire Adaptive Community Committee meeting. And let's stand and have a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay,
Okay, roll call. Mike.
here,
Martha's here. David Hartson. Don Clark.
Here,
Scott's not here. Vicky Lannon.
Here.
Mark Manley. Ray Honey.
here,
Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 out of 8 here.
okay, so that's a quorum.
That's a
That's
quorum,
a quorum.
Outstanding.
because they
Okay.
they're all residential and they can vote.
I'm sorry,
I said they're all residential and they can.
Oh, yes,
go ahead.
okay. I'll just talk about that when we get.
Okay.
Sorry. And could I add to the agenda approval of the January 21st minutes?
Okay, we have minutes we need to approve, and we have the agenda to approve.
Mhm.
Correct.
So let's start with the minutes, the agenda. Assuming, you've received those that were sent out by Martha. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
I would say, I make a motion to approve the agenda as written with the addition of approving the minutes for January 21.
With the
Okay.
addition of approving the minutes.
All in
of
favor?
January 1. Aye.
aye.
Okay.
Am I eligible to vote?
That's the first item on the agenda.
We'll talk about it, Don. We'll talk about it. Okay, approval of, I make a motion to approve today's agenda.
Okay. Anybody want to second that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anything else, Martha?
No, we're ready for our old business.
Okay, well, let's introduce guests, and I do have one online. Mary Stuber, she is the district forester for the Cimarron District of the New Mexico Department of Forestry. I had a chat with her yesterday and she agreed to join us. So I think some of the things we're gonna talk about, she could provide insight to. Thank you very much for being here. So let's begin. Old business, explanation of member requirements to be on a committee and vote. I thought maybe the manager could be here, but I know you're fully informed.
Unfortunately, the village manager cannot be here,
Yeah.
so, Chairman, Fire Adaptive Committee. The reason I am here before you today is because you guys want a formal explanation as to, it sounds like the requirement of the voting member status.
Thank you.
Initially, I was tasked with this on January 22nd to send out an email in light of the new year. We would like a declaration as to who's on the committee and who's not. Just so you guys know, I was looking at the village website today and there's 15 committees. That's not the case, obviously.
Yeah,
So
no, they're
the
not regularly
purpose of
meeting.
this is to find out who's active, who's participating and who's not. We got a lot of pushback when we said one of the requirements to be a voting member was if you're a resident. We got questions as to what's the policy, where's that statute, where's that coming from? All we were able to find was the New Mexico Constitution, Article 7, Section 2. It says the governing body members are required to be residents, but there is no guidance on committee members. The New Mexico Constitution provides that only residents are qualified to hold the elective public office.
Okay.
And all district and municipal officers and county commissioners, school board members, and municipal governing body members shall be residents of the political subdivision or district from which they are elected or from which they are appointed. So that doesn't really mean what we wanted to mean. So what we're doing is we are developing a policy. It should be ready for rollout by the end of June of this year.
End of June, you say?
The end of June, so starting this coming fiscal year of 26. Right now, that being said, we're pulling back on the requirement to be a resident to vote. I did send an email to that effect as of yesterday, if you didn't get a chance to see it. So right now, whatever you have is fine. My main goal here, our main goal is just to see who's on the committee and have appropriate information. And that I'll stand for any additional questions.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe it's clearly laid out in the document, but when you say resident of what? Resident of Angel Fire, resident of New Mexico, or both? Clearly there have been, in the past as there are now, a lot of committee members that live in, you know, Black Lake,
Sure.
Cows
Eagle
Pines.
Nest.
So is that been, I mean, you're gonna come up
Well,
with
it's
what
gonna
that
be
means?
developed in the policy. From my understanding, there are some caveats that the mayor wants to throw in that I think you guys will be satisfied with.
Oh, good.
So
I don't-
what you're saying is if they're live in Black Lake and they want to be on this committee, they can?
That's what it's sounding like. I don't want to
But
promise
maybe not
100%. But what I'm saying is it's not gonna be to the restricted level right here. It sounds like there is gonna be a bit more flexibility.
Good.
So that way, you know, we're
Okay.
just getting what we need out of the committee and you guys are satisfied.
Oh, good, good.
Good,
That seems,
good,
that
good.
seems fair.
Sure.
Yeah,
Because you
and
guys
we
care
don't
about the
lose
community.
talent. We have talent that we don't wanna lose.
Mhm.
You guys have some very passionate
Okay.
committee members.
Yes.
So does that answer your question, Don? Is
Yes, it does.
fair game on the committee until at least June?
Okay, sounds good.
That's good, Don. Don, everyone on the committee, I do need the annual committee declarations, meaning that I need for you to send me first name, last name, mailing address, phone number, email address. I need those 5 things. Please send those to me.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that explanation.
Thank you.
And while you're standing there,
Very well, okay.
the next agenda item, there was, what was that, last week already? Yeah. The village council met to approve, as I understand it, what was the version 3 of the defensible space. So I don't remember ever getting a final copy, but maybe, was it sent out? I mean, with
Yeah.
the timing of the phases and all that?
Yes, Ileana sent, or someone sent it out.
Well,
I never got it.
posted on the calendar as well with the agenda.
I got it.
I was, okay, I was just wanting to just clarify for those that weren't at that meeting. It contained everything that was in the earlier version with the addition of the timing or the phasing, right?
I think, Chief
Yes,
Adams could probably better speak to that.
Yeah, there were some minor language changes in there that were specific to like lot and the type of unimproved versus improved lots and developed versus undeveloped lots. Just cleaned up the language to make sure that we were speaking about lots with residences on them, and the purpose of the defensible space ordinance was aimed at homes on, or lots with homes on them.
Good, and it was the
Right.
one that we,
Everything else
committee-
was mostly the same. I have a copy of it with me here.
Well,
okay.
You know, I know I don't remember getting it, but I think it ought to be a part of our record just so that, you know, it's
I
in our
can
minutes.
make you a copy today. I can get you a copy
Please,
today
why don't
after
you do that?
this.
Yeah. why don't you-
And it was, voted to move forward. It wasn't
Into the
necessarily
attorney
approved.
approval or feedback or
Exactly, that's
something?
where we're going. We're gonna give it to the attorney to revise.
Yeah, the
Okay.
vote was to proceed with it. Now, what does that mean?
it goes to the attorney, Don. It's going to the
Okay.
attorney right now.
Okay,
what the vote was for. That's what Vicky made the motion for, and that's what was voted for, that it just moved to the attorney to legal review.
And then
okay,
he could tell us what to do and what not to.
Okay,
Exactly. Tell the village what to do and what not to.
Okay.
okay, well, I sent out yesterday, as I just found it yesterday. The State of New Mexico 57th legislature is considering a new, I guess, a bill. It's Senate Bill 33. That in essence, and as I read it, and it's certainly not approved yet, is going to be doing some of the same things. Do you have any more information, Chief, on?
Is this about insurance? or-
No, this is,
No,
it's
this is-
basically defensible space.
Defensible.
Yeah, and it sets up a committee, a bunch of people to advise and, I mean, you know why it's, LA farmers, I mean, everyone knows this is getting serious, so
Very serious.
they're forming this.
Yeah.
And
This-
the only reason I sent it out, I don't know if you had a chance to read it.
I haven't had a chance to read this one, but we did have a meeting yesterday with Nathan Small, Representative Nathan Small at the Capitol. And he asked us about that. He asked if we shared our defensible space ordinance with him.
Oh, great.
For reference to that. He's from Las Cruces area and has some familiarity with Rio Doso, and he actually asked that we talk to Rio Doso, and we said that we did that last year
Yeah.
and had a visit, and a lot of their language was adopted by us or used by us for reference. So they're very well aware of that, and they are trying to do something statewide, but they're putting all that together. I have not seen the copy.
Well, the only reason I bring it up, and who knows how it'll end up. And again, maybe I'm way ahead of my headlights, which is not unusual. But if they come up with a very specific code, based on their research, which hopefully will be similar to ours, but what if there's a difference? How are we gonna, start communicating, and whenever the time frame is, if
Yeah.
theirs comes out or
We have a
theirs comes out
state-
after we announce it, I'm just
Yeah.
sort of, it's just a topic of discussion. I mean,
Sure.
I hesitate to delay a lot.
My response to that would be twofold. I think one, if something is made at a federal level, as a municipality or local level, we have the right to uphold it and then make it more stringent.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
So if theirs is weaker, we can make it more stringent.
Yeah, so I would guess that because it would be a statewide program, it can't be too specific to the area and the.
Landscape
topography,
difference is
geography.
huge.
I think they're aware of that as well. But what it may do is open up federal funding, like if they do a statewide ordinance, it may open it up to either federal funding or state funding for us to be able to assist in doing some of those, and maybe for those communities who aren't established and don't have the ability to do it themselves. Mary, maybe.
Mary, I know we talked, I don't know if you'd seen this, I know they're having a meeting as we speak to this morning at 9 o'clock on this bill. But, so you're obviously not there, but have you heard anything more than what we've been talking about, Mary?
Yeah, and I'm looking at the bill right now. So, one of the things that we have been working with some of the senators who have presented this bill, there is an expansion of the fire planning task force. And the fire planning task force has been in place for decades and is the organization that approves the CWPPs. And so this will be adding some members and some duties to that task force. One of the things that I understand is either in this bill or a similar bill is going to be expanding our current Forest and Watershed Restoration Act. We call it FARA. Currently in the area, we have 2 FARA projects designed to protect Angel Fire. One of them is on state land on the Elk Ridge area, and the other one is to the north of Angel Fire on some private land that we call the Cimarron Range Protection. And so the FARA program has been kind of focused on larger landscapes. And what this bill will do is allow us to also use this money on private land as a buffer between properties is the way the language reads. So it would give us the ability to use some state funding. We've been really limited on our ability to put state money on private land because of the Anti-Donation Act. This would direct us to be putting state money on private land. And so these are all, I think they've combined different things to try to help improve our capabilities to implement our programs in order to do a better job of protecting communities. But as I say right now, there's quite a bit of FARA money that is coming into the area right now with 2 FARA projects, both to the south and to the north of Angel Fire. And this would allow us perhaps to even get a FARA project within Angel Fire to work on this defensible space.
Awesome.
That's good.
That's great.
Okay, well, any other questions or comments about this? And so wait and see at this point.
Mhm.
Okay, the next agenda item is really includes really just grant opportunities in general, both
What about the?
what we've already, slash processing.
A major slash processing
I'm sorry.
document. I mean,
Yeah, slash, I know they've still been, maybe, I thought that all of that was done, but they're still burning, right?
Yeah, they are.
You thought that what was done?
they
All the
still burning?
slash was handled in the pit or whatever they call it.
Yeah, we've never stated that it was finished. We've made a lot of headway. We burned about 1,000 yards in the last month. We're still doing 10-foot by 10-foot piles. We did 3 piles last, sorry, not exactly 10 foot.
Yeah,
but
we saw.
estimated about 1,000.
it looks so much
It
better.
does look
Oh
great.
my
You
God.
guys driven by?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
It's significantly better.
Okay.
We're on pace to be able to get it completely processed by April. That's been our
Okay.
target from day one.
Okay,
And I think we can beat that.
okay, so that was slash.
Okay, now.
So
you-
Chief, you're talking about the slash that's been built up over the last 10 years or so, all those piles?
Correct. Yeah, every person I talk to has a different number for that. I've heard up to 20 years, but yes, sir. That large paper.
Great,
Yeah.
good job, good job.
No,
Down to China somewhere, we're digging down.
I think what that'll do is that'll allow us to process slash in that bottom pit and use it as an open pit area rather than doing it up top by the fire station.
That would be great.
It'll be more efficient for us. We're talking about maybe doing residential drop offs up top, so they're nice and easy. You don't have to go down to the pit, but commercial drop offs down at the bottom, so.
Awesome.
Captain Romo's doing a great job of handling that and making a plan for us to be more efficient to handle more splash.
good for
All right.
Okay, grants. We had brought up this in an earlier meeting, but our priorities at the time were to focus on the defensible space ordinance, which is at this point behind us from the committee standpoint. And there was a grant opportunity that EMRLD, Energy, Minerals, Natural Resource Department, okay. And it's every 2 months that they accept applications called Urban and Community Forestry Grant, up to $60,000. And I've got a copy of it here, but it does include money if you want to propose for money for fire mitigation.
Yeah, remember, Mike, we talked about this last meeting, that this grant, or meeting before last, that we could use this grant for education purposes
Yes.
as well. You know, we do need some more of those folders,
Yes.
ready, set, go, and then the other really good one, I have several copies of
Okay.
those.
Yes, I remember that now, and you're right.
We talked about using.
I guess one thought was having a space set aside for the community to go and talk to someone or pick up those folders or understand the defensible space.
Yes, and we were thinking that maybe,
Is there
Suzanne
space here, you
there's
said?
an office here now, right? For, where the public could come in and do a face-to-face?
Not here now. Back there in that back building or that back room, those two back rooms, as soon as those get flooring, we're planning on moving in there. And we've heard it's gonna be another 2 weeks for about the last 2 months, so.
And then after that, we can put something up in the Rotary Bulletin Board to direct people, because I know that face-to-face is much more powerful than anything we can do.
Yeah, it
Seeing your
is.
faces here today is much easier.
Well,
than-
and you know, having examples of some of the great things in the hardening part of the code. You know, you can say, okay, it's a screen that keeps embers out, but if you have examples of
If we
it.
actually had photos or even
Yeah.
examples of screening and stuff.
You know, as soon as we can get Ambassador Lindsay Reed into her own space, she'll be able to work more efficiently. We're all three in the office at the fire station now, so it's a little tight, but that is our plan to do exactly that, to have a face and have somebody be able to come in and get it.
Boy, that's gonna be so good.
And I know a lot of people go in and talk.
Yes, they would rather look at someone and hear someone and be able to ask questions in a spontaneous manner.
Yeah, especially with the insurance.
Yeah,
involved.
Mary, could you comment on that program, if you will? Are we going the right way with thinking about the communication and education parts of this grant?
I
Mary?
absolutely believe that Angel Fire area needs more communication and
Mhm.
not I mean, in addition to what you're talking about, you also have a large absentee population and you need to be thinking about ways to do outreach with that population because they will be responsible for getting their properties in place as well. It kind of takes a village to have a safe community. So I really support that idea of going after this grant for education purposes, but I also want to encourage you guys to think big about implementation as well and look at some of the other grants that we have in the program. On February 28th is the deadline to apply for the Community Wildfire Defense Grant. We believe this will be the last call for that grant. That was part of the Bill and IRA program, and they can go up to $10 million. There's already one $10 million grant the Cimarron Watershed Alliance is doing for you guys to work on your perimeters. We've suggested the idea of this would be money that could be used to work on some of those lands that don't have houses.
Yes.
And so I know that that's a big concern to a lot of people who are doing work around their houses is their neighboring properties that don't have that. A lot of the like this program that is coming together is going to be for residences. And so this is a good chance to go after some funding that to protect the community that could be used on these properties that haven't been developed yet.
That's one grant, right? That 10 million is one grant, February 28th. Are there other grants, Mary? Because
So
that's,
there are other grants, nothing this size. And you know that this is kind of the go big or go home kind of decision. We don't know what will happen in the future. I don't have a crystal ball to say there'll be another program that comes along, but the state funding where we do expect some large money is going to be for residents of New Mexico for their primary resident houses. So,
Okay.
You know, each of the grants have different focuses and things like that. And so I'm just kind of making sure you guys are aware if you're passing up
Yes.
on this opportunity that you knew about it.
Mary, the one problem we have here in Angel Fire is when Angel Fire was set up, you can't cut somebody else's trees off their lot. That is a restriction. So at that point,
That follows state law as well.
I just know it's here in Angel Fire in the
Yeah.
country club area.
Well,
It is state
It's
law. You
state-
cannot go on
Yeah.
someone else's property and cut their
Yeah.
trees.
A thought, and I'm sorry that maybe.
Well, there's one thought I just came up with is if we get that, we could probably get a hold of the association,
Yes.
get phone numbers if they'll give us phone numbers to the vacant landowners and call them and say, do you mind if we go in and, you know,
I mean, that is true.
Yeah.
My opinion, this is just personally, knowing that, you know, you don't have to go for $10 million, yeah.
no,
You can do a lot for $1 million even,
yeah,
but unfortunately, Mark's not here, but collaborate with the resort and have them be a lead, because how many acres do they own that this
Yeah.
could go to?
yeah,
I
and.
mean,
it
one
would
entity.
help there, yeah,
Now, it would still have to be a collaborative effort, but to me, that almost checks off the unstructured lot category with respect to our long-term strategy.
If we had
Yeah,
the
and
money,
I do want to point out that $1 million sounds like a lot of money, but it doesn't go that far.
go too far.
You know,
no,
we
Well, but
are
even if-
currently seeing,
yeah.
you know, prices around $3,000 or $4,000 an acre. So,
Yeah, even
you
if-
know,
Mary, how do we find, I mean, February 28th is very, very close. We're
Short.
talking about 2025, right?
Yes, short fuse, 24 days.
I've been talking about this for over a month, and trying to push this with you guys. It's
Gee.
been out there, so I
been
just
out
don't
there.
want it to pass by without you ever thinking about it, because this is one of those windows of opportunity. Now, I do want to say, because of the work that Angel Fire has done and working collaboratively with the Cimarron Watershed Alliance, there is one $10 million grant already focused on Angel Fire, but it's not necessarily focused on resort lands, or it is focused strategically to try to prevent fires from coming into Angel Fire. But this particular program, you know, they are giving multiple grant awards within the same community in priority landscapes, and Angel Fire is in a priority landscape. So we think you'd have a good chance if you had a well-written grant.
But we need a well-written grant, so we need Rocky, isn't he still?
Well, it's gonna need to be more than Rocky.
Yeah, we'll be.
Uh,
We need Mark Manley,
Sure,
for sure. We need our chief.
but even if the focus of the grant with the resort was to perimeterize those areas that the resort owns around structured lots, you know, the things that everybody was screaming about,
Yes.
you know, that would be great in itself. We don't have to completely thin the whole resort's
No.
land.
no, no.
I mean, I just know my neighbors are concerned about their neighbors. You know, people who aren't doing their job. So I'm just talking to the people I know.
Rather than approaching, this is my thought coming in, and I talked to Mary about that yesterday, that rather than even messing with these $60,000 grants, let's put all of our effort, and I don't know what that means, into this community wildfire defense grant, working with the resort.
How soon do we have
I make
to?
a motion that we gather a smaller committee and we just start pushing hard.
Tomorrow.
This is February 4th, tomorrow. But we really do need Mark Manley. We
Yeah.
really do need Chief Vance. We
Okay.
need,
So your motion is, could you restate your motion?
I make a motion that we gather a group of people as early as tomorrow to address this grant. We need to get, all the, yeah.
If we could get,
I make a
Cimarron
motion,
Watershed
I make a motion.
Go
Does
ahead.
anyone second?
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Hi,
I'm not supposed to vote, but anyway.
We do have a meeting today at 10 o'clock. Lindsay, I apologize for her not being able to make it this morning. She hit traffic.
What is her schedule? Maybe she's online. Is she available? What time would be preferable to everybody tomorrow?
So if I.
Well, we
may
gotta find out about Mark too.
If I may finish my statement, we have a meeting today at 10 o'clock to discuss all the grant options that we.
Oh, good.
Good.
So we are working on it.
Okay, great.
So what's next on this? Then wait till your meeting?
No, you can make plans. I don't have her schedule in front of me, so I don't know what her schedule is tomorrow, but. I'm
Hi
sure-
guys, I'm here actually.
Hey, Lindsay.
I'm on the way, like I'm 5 minutes away and I'll be in person, but I should be available tomorrow before 11 and after noon.
Okay, anybody want to pick a time.
9 o'clock?
9 o'clock here in the conference room. Is it being used by anyone? Oh, she's not here. Oh, wait a minute.
Lindsay, did you, have plans to talk about the community wildfire defense grant today? Is that part of our schedule at 10 o'clock?
Yes, that's basically what me, you, and Roma were gonna focus on today.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we need to communicate. I'll give it a shot with Mark, see if he can make it.
Good.
Clearly, that needs to be an element.
He doesn't like to be asked late for meetings, but we'll try.
Okay. Well, as I said, there is a small grant here from New Mexico counties. Sorry. Which I am going to put on the back burner because this is more important.
It is more.
The space is available all day tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
This space is available all day tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Let us know what time you'd like to block it out.
Okay, so anything else? We are actually so early, I can't believe it.
No,
That means I can go to work.
Well, I mean, not on the agenda, because I didn't, want to push too many things, but at some point soon, if you go back to the original 2022 wildfire protection plan,
DWPP?
CWPP, there are like 10 high priority items, of which we've been addressing, the slash, we've been addressing defensible space, but there are quite a few others,
Yes.
like fire hydrants, and I don't know what the status of that is.
I've seen them out checking fire hydrants. You guys used to check the fire hydrants.
So different, couple of different pools, for that. Number one is we've been lobbying up in Santa Fe for the last, couple of weeks. A 60-day session started a couple of weeks ago, and we've been up there 3 or 4 times, lobbying. The first on our priority list is, infrastructure and water lines. There's a Senate bill, and forgive me, I can't remember, it's either 27, 28, or 29, one of those 3 numbers, apologize. They're going after a very large pool of money to be able to address infrastructure statewide. They're also going to encourage municipalities to get together like on the same type of well systems and stuff. There's a lot in that. We should take a look at that when you have a chance. So we've gotten a lot of momentum with doing that. So
is that appropriate for grant funding, or is it's all going to be under that umbrella of the state program?
the Senate bill. Yeah.
Okay.
And they're also trying to help us out as far as getting a loan to be able to start tackling that as well. So there is movement made on the infrastructure side.
Okay, well, in the next meeting, not the one tomorrow, I would propose that we go through that top 10 list and start thinking about initiatives, and where we stand. Clearly, Lindsay has a lot of those under her ambassador title, but communications, but there probably are some things that we need
To
to bring
your
up.
point, annually, we test hydrants, and we had a company come up and test 100 of our hydrants as well, and they did identify some problems, and Kurt Epler and his crew have been working on some of those water leaks. They've helped identify some of those, and we're addressing them as we go.
Yeah, I kind of see that. I'm all over the place, so I see everything.
Okay, well, we'll actually end the meeting early then
Okay.
if
Okay.
that is appropriate. So at 9:34.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
We ended the meeting.
I think